How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeyenest, and I'm out here in Beaver Creek today. Had some business to take care of, and I was cruising through town here, and I realized here's a Veterans Memorial, so I thought I'd stop and do a little video for you. Every memorial that the people build in the different towns I go through is different, so I hope you enjoy this short video. You know, freedom is never free. That's what that black flag up there means. That's prisoners of war missing in action. People, soldiers like that we need to worry about and think about, because the motto of all the military is everybody comes home. So they're still looking for guys in Vietnam that haven't showed up yet. So let's take a look here at this memorial we got here. If you can see that there, that's the United States Army. And what they got underneath of it here is really interesting. Let me read it to you. The motto is, "No one comes close." Well, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Air Force now. Alright, let's talk about the Air Force. Their motto is, "No one comes close." The Air Force was created as an aeronautical division of the Army Signal Corps in 1907, and Congress established the Army Air Corps in 1926. The Air Force was created in 1947 as an independent branch of the military. Now around here we got the Army. That's their logo. And down here, let me read this to you. Their motto is, "This we will defend." The Army was created by the Continental Congress in 1775 for the defense of American liberty. It was formally established within the Department of War in 1789. Now let's step around here. Here's the Navy. Let me read their motto to you. Their motto is, "Let the journey begin." The Navy was created by the Continental Congress in 1775 to supply and support the Continental Army. It was formally established as the Department of the Navy in 1798. Now here's the Marine Corps. You read their motto here. Their motto is "Semper Fidelis," always faithful. The Marine Corps was created by the Continental Congress in 1775 to serve as landing forces with the Navy. It was formally established as a permanent arm of the military service in 1798. And last but not least, a lot of people don't think about it, but the Coast Guard, their motto is "Semper Paratus," always ready. The Coast Guard was created in 1790 as the Revenue Marine Service. It was combined with the Life-Saving Service in 1915 to become the Coast Guard. And we're missing one here, which I'm sure they didn't forget on purpose. It's called the National Guard. And without the National Guard, they support and work with the citizens and stuff, helped out during riots and strikes and major economic and ecological disasters, and we can't forget those people. Those people are critical to the defense of our nation. If we ever get attacked on our land, in our country, not only will the Army be there, but the National Guard will come out in full force too. And they're just as bad, and they kick ass and take names just like all of our other military people do. So the next time you see a veteran, folks, you need to remember this kind of stuff. That's a pretty good eagle up there on the top. Let me get around here to the front so the light's not in my eyes. Pretty good eagle up there. There's Old Glory. Next time you see a veteran, folks, stop and say thank you for what they did, because they all did something. whether they were in combat or not. These are called pavers, folks, and I'm sure you can contact the city of Beaver Creek and get a paver put down here for remembrance of your veteran. All your memorials got them. I get kind of teary-eyed when I see them. I'm a veteran myself, if I didn't mention that. United States Army. I was a tanker, 72 to 75. Here's a placard and a little history about the Vietnam War. It lasted from 1964 to 1973. Over 8 million military personnel, that includes all branches, served in that time period in Vietnam. We lost 58,198 military personnel in Vietnam, and wounded was 153,303. After the defeat of the French colonial forces at the hands of the Viet Minh in 1954, Vietnam was divided into two nations: Communist North Vietnam and non-Communist South Vietnam. The United States became involved in Vietnam because it believed if all of the Vietnam fell under a communist government, communism would spread throughout the Southeast Asia. This belief was called the domino theory. By 1961, the U.S. military personnel were advising and assisting the South Vietnamese Army. In 1966, under the United Nations banner, the United States military was actively engaged in the fighting. In 1973, a ceasefire was signed in Paris, and the United States ended active military participation. The ceasefire ended in 1975 when North Vietnam invaded South Vietnam, creating a Vietnam under communist rule. I mentioned earlier, folks, that people have pavers put in here in memory of their veteran. I met this really unique lady across the street here. I'll introduce you to in a minute. But there's a story here behind this paver. This is pavers in memory of Corporal Paul Metz. Served in World War II from 1941 to 1945. He received a Purple Heart. That means he was wounded in action. But Paul and his wife live right across the street here in that house, and this is his daughter coming here. You can come on in, and I'm going to show you a tree that in a minute here that Paul planted in this memorial with his own two hands.
Well, it was before the memorial was even thought of.
Can I put you on video? You look good.
I guess.
Or how about if we just leave it, just do the audio? Okay. So your dad's paver here is on this end of the star, and you asked the city to put his paver there, pointing towards the house.
Correct.
Is there a story behind that?
Well, it was the first house he and my mother bought, and they remodeled it, and that was Paul and Mary Lou Metz's homestead.
but it's kind of comforting to know Dad's watching over us still, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did your dad do in the military, in the Army?
He was in the Marines.
Okay.
He got as far as corporal.
Okay.
He was in World War II. He was pallbearer for Roosevelt's funeral.
Okay.
He got a Purple Heart.
Did he get wounded in action?
Yes.
Okay.
He got a bullet through the arm. He never had full muscle strength in that arm. But he was a sweetheart. And every time he'd see somebody, if he had any Buckeyes, he'd go, here, have a Buckeye for good luck.
Yeah.
And he planted this Buckeye tree down here before this park was even thought about being built.
Yeah. So. Well, now, folks, I got to tell you something else about the Buckeyes. All of you know I own a company called the Buckeyenest. I went into business in 2008, and believe it or not, I've been looking for Buckeyes. And guess what she has in her hand? I guess I'm going to be super lucky the rest of my life in the company too, because she's given me some Buckeyes that I can use for my promo stuff. So, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, you'll have to polish them up because they've been sitting around.
Oh, I will.
They won't grow now because they're way too old. Right.
Well, I didn't want them to grow.
Oh, well, just, so you know.
Let's go over here and look at this tree that your dad planted.
Okay. It's across from the house also.
Yeah. And while I'm thinking about it, folks, I want to thank the city of Beaver Creek for going out of their way and making this lady's life a little more pleasurable and a little more comfortable and doing what she asked you to do as far as placing that paver and recognizing her dad in that special way. And this is the tree your dad planted,
this
huh?
Is the Buckeye tree, yes.
Wow, this is a pretty big tree. How long ago did he plant it?
I don't know.
You say it was well before...
it was in the 50s.
In the 50s, huh? All right, I got to ask a question now. Did these Buckeyes come from this tree?
No, I've got 2 more Buckeye trees in my yard.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one on each side of the property.
That's pretty awesome.
I never get to these Buckeyes before the public
Gets
or
them?
the squirrels, yeah.
But that's pretty awesome that your dad did this way back in that day.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome that...
He loved Ohio.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I know about another 1.5 million veterans that loves Ohio too. So, well, and when your last name was Metz. What was your first name again?
Sandra.
Sandra.
Yes.
Got to forgive me, Sandra. Sometimes my memory walks away.
Mine too, and I'm not.
So, but this is Sandra Metz you hear in the background here. She's got a pretty awesome dad, and I'm guessing because Dad was awesome, Mom was too, huh?
She's still alive.
Is she?
She'll be 89 January 1st.
Wow.
She was the first baby born in Greene County in 1927.
Very good. Yeah.
So she and herself has history.
Well, I have to go, Sandra.
Okay, well, thank you for stopping and talking.
Thank you for the Buckeyes. I've been looking for these for a long time.
I started shining them up, but
That's all right. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that. And then if you get a chance, send me an email.
Okay.
You got my card and my email address is on there.
Just a boy starting life, just out of school, now ready to fight, because he's an American hero, giving a life. all the time.